Welcome back. Well, now we started to explore the world of Ed Maggiani. Now we're going to go even more specific. The guns and the weaponry that he's collected and researched over time is absolutely fascinating. So let's really get down to the nitty-gritty. I know you're going to enjoy this. All right, this is unbelievable, and every time I'm here, my jaw drops to see all the guns amassed from James Bond. Ed, why don't you talk about at least three of the more iconic or rare ones?
Sure. Probably the earliest one would be this, and this you might recognize as the flare gun that was used by Bond to ignite all the gas tanks in From Russia with Love. It's a real piece. You know, it actually, even though this is fake, it is loadable. You can shoot it. Okay, and I think also the unique thing about this is that not only was it used by Connery in From Russia with Love, but the exact same one was used, and I'm talking about the exact same one was used by Connery in The League of an Extraordinary Gentleman.
No kidding.
They actually had the license number, serial number, and they sent it over to him with a little note saying, "Say hello to a good old friend."
Oh, that's too funny.
So he actually used this twice in 2 movies. This is also very iconic in the sense that even though it was never actually used in any of the Bond films at all, this is probably the most recognizable gun in the James Bond arsenal, used in practically every poster. This is a Walther L P53, and this gun is the classic pose that Bond has.
There we go.
With the gun. And it's really unique in that it's an air gun. It's not even a real gun.
Why would they use an air gun for the posters? And it's just something they had laying around?
They actually had a problem with that. The photographer, the day of the actual shoot, they were supposed to have a PPK,
right?
And they didn't. They forgot it. The photographer happened to have this gun,
right?
And what they did is they had Connery pose with this, and the idea was that later on they were going to airbrush this off to make it kind of resemble a PPK.
Right.
But they forgot. So it became an iconic piece because of someone's negligence.
Amazing. Even promotional pieces nowadays have those.
This is very, very iconic. It's kind of rare. Few people have them, and there's variations. There's all kinds of different barrel lengths and different handle grips and things like that. But yeah, very unique piece.
I think most anybody would recognize this, but why don't you talk about this particular one?
Sure. What this is it's a combination of things, and the base gun is what you can see here. It's a WGP, which stands for War Game Products, and this is called the Ranger. This particular model, it's a paintball gun, and that's all that they used. But again, heavily modified. This portion, which is the paintball ball feeder, was removed, and this is a unique piece here. This is an electronic ultra dot, which is one of the first kind of in-scope laser,
right?
Without actually projecting a laser. If you were to look down the barrel of the actual sight, you can't see it now, but if you turned it on, you would actually see a little red light inside, which is what you would put on the target. They modified it by adding a reel in the back, and they also added this big bullpup kind of a barrel extension on here. But this was used as the grappling gun in GoldenEye.
Amazing. And when I say in the movie, I desperately wanted one, and sure enough, I'm seeing it in person here. It's amazing.
Yeah, and a good friend of ours, George, actually duplicated this as well with my help a little bit, and surpassed it because he's actually finished his, and it looks spectacular.
Well, there it goes. Goes back to the evolution of props. Thanks. All right, well, a little shout out to all the AJB board people out there. Hot topic right now are these spear guns, and a lot of debate, a lot of discussion, a lot of asking for Ed's help, thank goodness, and here they are. Ed, why don't you talk about these spear guns?
Sure. This actually encompasses all of the spear guns that you'll actually see in Thunderball. The most iconic one, the one that everybody pretty much remembers, is this one, and this is the one that's used by Bond to basically pin our evil assailant who was following him up against the tree.
Vargas.
So yeah, so this is the actual piece. This was also used by a couple of the frogmen in the underwater battle scene. You'll see once or twice they'll actually show you this particular piece. It's kind of unique too, but you have to be careful Again, I've seen people when they actually go out and buy these on eBay. Some of them are shorter, some of them have different grips,
Yes.
some of them are different colors. So you kind of have to be careful about which one you pick out.
Don't just buy a spear gun,
But
folks.
yeah, even if it looks like this, you
Yeah.
have to really be careful and take note of all the little details to make
Right.
sure it's the right one. This next one here, this is one of the holy grails we were talking about earlier. Now right now, this one doesn't have the tube, it's this tube here that's used on the smaller spear gun. And this you actually only see mounted directly on the toe sleds that you'll see Largo's men
Oh, sure.
when they have the underwater battle scene. This is their particular spear gun that's mounted. There's twin pieces mounted, and this piece is again very, very rare. And I was lucky enough to obtain this, and in actuality, we're making duplicates of this to be mounted on 2 of the original toe sleds from Thunderball.
Oh my gosh.
Doug Redinius, who's with the Ian Fleming Foundation, he's contacted me, and we're producing 2 of these for him. And he's also going to get 2 more additional ones for Jordan Klein, who built the original toe sleds, and he doesn't have these. So spyboys.com will be supplying
There you
spear
go.
guns to
There
the
you go.
original that will be mounted on the original
That's
toe sleds.
phenomenal.
Now this one is, but again with a little bit of difference, this tube here actually belongs on the longer spear gun that you see. This particular one would have a tube that's about half of this length.
Right.
And this is the one that's used by the Paramarines. You see this at the very beginning of the film also, when the title credits come by.
Oh, sure.
You'll see this, and this is again used by the Paramarines as well as Bond. Okay, this is the Holy Grail to get.
Oh, that's the Holy
This
Grail.
is it.
It's pretty.
This is very tough, very tough to get. And we'll be offering copies of these in resin. They're right now being molded. They're going to be cast directly in this correct color,
Oh,
so
that's
that
great.
you won't have to worry about chipping or anything like that.
Yes, please.
And we hope to offer these very shortly. This is one that you see being used by Largo, and there's a famous photograph of Largo dressed up in his
Oh.
white tux where he's holding it
It
up.
looks like he's inspecting the troops,
Yes,
right? That one,
exactly.
yeah.
And if you notice, every one of those Spectre frogmen, they're all holding this particular spear gun.
My gosh.
And it is used also in the underwater battle. You'll see this a few times being used by the Spectre frog.
Yeah.
And the last one is just kind of for fun. This isn't even in the film, unless it might have been used perhaps in Pinder's location. But this is a still some people might recognize, and what it is, it's a shot of Domino on the beach, and she's holding the spear gun. So
My gosh, what a completist you
It was
are.
supplied, specifically for a publicity shot. Probably not in the film at all.
Right.
But this is what she's holding in the stills. So there it is.
Unbelievable.
Had to get that to you.